Hi everybody, my name is Anthony. Now, if I can just briefly introduce to you this technology I was introduced to a few years ago. Now, the reason I was introduced to this was a few years ago, for a long time, my parents had suffered from a host of chronic illnesses and everything from gout and uric acid. And my parents used to have severe migraine. And the doctors came to our house and they showed us this technology. And instantly I became very skeptical, particularly when I heard it was about water. But they said, Anthony, you have to hear this because this technology has been used in Japan and used in Japanese hospital for over 40 years. And when I did some research, I found that this technology, this company called Enagic, that produces Kangen water, has been endorsed by 6,500 medical doctors and also licensed as a medical device. So as you can see here, we've got a whole host of different equipment and utensils here. So I'm just going to jump right straight into this. So now, the product is called Kangen water, and Kangen is a Japanese word which means return to origin. And there are 3 unique properties to Kangen. Number 1, antioxidants. Number 2, alkalinity. And number 3, microcluster. So, shall we just jump in? Are we okay to just jump in and just show you the 3 properties and how it benefits our health and how it pertains to our body?
Let's get started then.
Right, so the first property of this, unique property of this water is something called antioxidants. Now, before we talk about antioxidants, let's talk a little bit about oxidants, shall we? Now, have you come across a situation where you've put an apple, you cut it in half, it starts to turn brown, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's the oxidation process. That's also what oxidation is the rusting process. It's the aging process that happens in our body. So on the opposite side, you have antioxidants. So can you guys name me some common antioxidants you take on a day-to-day basis? What sort of antioxidants do you normally take regularly?
Fruit.
Fruit, okay, very good. Like things like green tea maybe, or goji berries, strawberries. These are very high in antioxidants, right? So scientists came up with a very clever device. I'm going to introduce you now to something called the ORP redox meter. Mm-hmm. So scientists came up with this device to measure and test whether or not a liquid or a food is oxidizing, bad for you, or anti-oxidizing, good for you. Okay, so there is a chart called the ORP meter chart, and you'll see on either side of this chart, you'll have a positive ORP, and these things are bad for you. These speeds up your aging process. And you have on the opposite side, antioxidant. It has a negative reading, it has a minus reading, so that means it's good for you. Mm-hmm. So as you can see, I've brought along a whole range of common liquids. First one I have is something that I used to love drinking. Any of you guys drink this? Yeah?
I used to drink Coke.
Exactly. This represents any soft drink, be it Coca-Cola, Fanta. Just listen to the sound of that. It sounds delicious, right? So, first one is 7-Up. How about this gassy drink over here, this sparkling water over here? Okay, any of you drink this?
Used to.
Used to, right? Okay.
I'm a big fan now.
Okay, right. Now let's pour some of this off. And the next one, you might recognize this brand here. Yeah, Smart Water. Yeah, I'll tell you what I call it later. Okay, and this represents a lot of common drinks that you buy in the supermarkets. Okay. And then what we have here is just regular room temperature tap water. Any of you drink tap water or filtered water?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then lastly, this water here from our technology, the Kangen water. And I'm just going to pour a bit in here. Now, when I put this probe into the meter, it will give me either a positive reading or a negative reading. So the first one we have is 7-Up. Can you all see the reading on this meter? Can you tell me what the reading is?
It's
about 300.
Yes.
So is that good or bad for us, you think?
I would say it's bad.
Yeah, so this is one of the highest reading you'll find actually. So the higher the reading, the worse it is for our body. Mm-hmm. And the next, sparkling water. Any guess of what this might be? Yeah.
Oh, it's still pretty high.
It's still pretty high, it's not much different, so it's still very high. So the reading here, you can see, is around 200-300, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then next we have Smart water or mineral water. Okay,
it's dropping now.
Again, it still has a positive reading,
Still
right? So it's still,
60,
yeah, so it's still oxidizing. It's still bad for us. And then tap water. Now I know a lot of people drink tap water. A lot of my friends used to drink tap water. What is the reading on this?
It's dropping to 250.
About 250. So people think that tap water is good for us. Okay, that people think that mineral water is good for us as an alternative to mineral to soft drinks. But as you can see, it's still oxidizing. It's still bad for us. So lastly, we come on to Kangen. In Kangen water, as you can see, it will gradually drop. What is the reading on here?
Minus 400.
Minus 400. So you see there is a negative reading on this meter, right? So what this means is, everything that you've seen so far up to here, these water here are oxidizing. They're rusting our body, they're aging us. They're speeding things up. Whereas over here with the Kangen water, this water here has an abundance of antioxidants. So it neutralizes free radicals, it protects our body. Okay, so it has an abundance of antioxidants in this water. So your water of choice should be the Kangen water. Very good. Okay, so that is the first property of Kangen water, antioxidants. Okay, so now we're going to move to the second property of Kangen water, and the second property of Kangen water is something called alkalinity. Now, you mentioned earlier, and we're all very familiar with putting lemon drops, okay, or squeezing lemon into our water in the morning, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, to neutralize acids, to detox. So, and you also hear a lot of nutritionists now say these days, take an alkaline diet, go alkaline, eat more broccoli, eat more spinach, right? But what about our water? Okay, we never really consider that water could be acidic or alkaline, right? Now, until I saw this next demo, how do we test whether or not a water is acidic or alkaline? I'm going to introduce you now to my little friend over here. So this is simply a bottle of pH tester.
Okay.
Okay, it's simply a red dye. It's exactly the same idea when you go to your GP, your doctor. They test your saliva, they test your urine, right? And you get that little litmus chart paper with the different colours on.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly the same idea. So what I'm going to do is just squeeze a few drops into each cups over here. Now again, prior to seeing this demonstration, I thought all water was the same. If I hadn't put this pH drop in, they all look the same, don't they? They taste more or less the same. Now let's have a look at this common soft drink over here.
It's shocking.
So this is very, very acidic. So if you have a look on our pH chart, so the more orangey yellow it is, the more acidic, the more the worse it is for our body. Okay, so the first one, 7-Up, you can see is very acidic. And who drinks 7-Up or soft drinks the most these days?
A lot of kids.
A lot of kids, a lot of children, right? And how about sparkling water? You'd be surprised, isn't it, right? So again, it's still very acidic.
For some reason, you would think that it's healthy because it's water, right?
Yeah, but they pump a lot of gas into it, right? Okay. And how about mineral water? A lot of people drink mineral water. They go out and they buy packs and packs of mineral water. And very interestingly, you notice here it's acidic to slightly neutral. And the reason is because these mineral water has been on the supermarket shelves for a very, very long time. Any guesses how long this has been in bottle for?
Maybe a year?
By the time it gets to you? A year? It's actually 24 months on average.
Oh, wow.
About 2 years. So from the moment it's sourced to you guys drinking, it's about 24 months.
So I guess when it's sourced, it will be alkaline.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you can get it from source, you can get it from the French Alps, if you get it from the Swiss Alps, it's very, very alkaline. And that's where the best water is. If you have Mount Everest in the back of your garden, okay? So unfortunately we don't, so we have to buy these mineral water. And next we have tap water. Okay, as you can see, tap water is very neutral. Okay, that's very interesting because anywhere we test tap water, it's always this colour. Whether it be in New York or in Germany or in Japan, it's always neutral. Any guesses why that might be? Well, because by federal regulation, the governments have to put things in the water and they have to put chemicals in the water. So one of the chemicals, as you know, is chlorine. Okay, and then it also picks up a lot of heavy metals along the way, right, in our city pipes. So one of the chemicals they put in now these days is something called lye, L-Y-E, which is very, very alkaline. It's pH of 14, very, 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 very purple. And the reason is to help boost up the pH of the water, to change it from this colour to this colour. Okay, and actually it made me wonder why originally, but you think about it, because if our city pipes was acidic, what would happen to our city pipes?
Rusting, right?
It would rust,
Yes.
correct? It would rust, it would corrode.
Mm-hmm.
So you wonder, right? So are the governments there looking after their pipes, or they're looking after your pipes?
That's a good question.
And then lastly, you can see Kangen water. It's it's purple. It's alkaline, right? So, one of the first things that happens to your body when you drink Kangen water? So let's have a look. So imagine this is your state of your body over here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things that happens to your body is when you drink Kangen. Notice it starts to change colour.
Mm-hmm.
You start to neutralise acids in your body.
Mm-hmm.
You start to detox.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about with the smart water? Let's see if we can really make it smart now. Now that's what I call
It's more
smart
smarter.
water now, right? Okay. Now don't blink with this next one. This is very interesting. It's sparkling gassy water. What happens when we put Kangen water inside?
Oh.
Wow.
Ah, I'm not a magician, am I? So that was not magic show. Let's see that again. You notice how it struggled, it changed colour slightly a little bit, and it went back to acidic. That's how acidic these soft drinks are. You need to drink a lot to change that state. And the same with that 7-Up. You see? No changes? Okay, in fact, I have a bigger bottle over here. I'm going to keep pouring this all the way to the top, all the way, and you still see there are no changes. Now, if you drink a can of this 7-Up, this soft drink,
Mm-hmm.
guess how many bottles of Kangen water you will need to drink to neutralise all that acids?
Maybe 10?
10?
No idea.
No idea. It's actually 30. 30
Wow.
bottles of Kangen to neutralise all that acids in your body. You think, who can sit here and drink 30 bottles in one day, right? And like me,
So that's something just to avoid then, I guess.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, you know, a lot of children when they come to see this, they get this, they get it straight away.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Mummy, Daddy, this visual impact is very powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they go home and say, Mummy, Daddy, I don't want that soft drink anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
So this actually means something to them, right?
Really cool. Yeah.
So, like my children, I have like a 5-year-old daughter, and she said, Mummy, Daddy, if I go out and I just took one little sip, it's not going to do too much harm to my body, right? So let's have a look. Not half a can, not a whole can, just one sip.
Wow.
Did you see what happened there? Right? It changed it instantly to a very acidic state in our body, and the same with the tap water.
Yeah.
All right?
We don't realize what we do to our bodies.
No, exactly. So when you see this, instantly your choice would be to stay away from these acidic water, these mineral water, and even the tap water, which not only is it oxidizing our body, but it's also acidifying our cells. So your water of choice again should be the Kangen water. Okay, so that completes our second property of Kangen water. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what you've seen so far is the first and second property of Kangen water: antioxidants and alkalinity. Now I'm going to introduce you now to the third and last property of Kangen water, and that's something called microclustering. Now you're probably wondering, what is microclustering? Well, simply think of it as two sides of water. You've got big water and you have tiny water. You think, how does water have two sizes? Well, your tap water, your mineral water, is somewhere between 15 to 20 molecules. It's clumped up together. Whereas with Kangen, after going through this process in the machine, it breaks down the molecules of water. It's somewhere between 4 to 6 molecules. Now, rather than me explaining how this works, I'm going to show you how microclustering works via some green tea. Okay, so what I have here is a packet of Yamamoto green tea. This is one of my favorites. Now, question: how do you guys normally make your green tea?
Just
Hot water.
Hot water, right? So I'm just going to use one tea bag, room temperature tap water. And what I'm doing wrong is, this is just room temperature. You've got to boil the water, correct? So, same tea bag. We're going to move on to now to Kangen water.
Whoa.
Wow.
Instant green tea.
And that's cold water.
And that's just, again, cold Kangen water.
That's weird.
And the reason is because molecules of water is in two sizes. You have big water and tiny water. So this allows the molecules of water to penetrate through into the tea bag. Now, you're probably wondering, when I first saw that, when you see that, you think, Anthony, the tea bag was wet from the first cup, right? From the tap water. That's why you can make green tea. So, why don't we do this? Come back on tap water. Same tea bag. Just to make sure, show you it is not a magic trick. Any green tea?
No.
Molecules of water is too big, right? So again, we come back now to Kangen. No matter how many times I see this, I never see this to amaze me.
Colors of different.
Instant green tea, the vibrancy in this is incredible, right? So what does this mean? Well, if you think about hosting a green tea party, you should use one tea bag. Save some money, right? You can make 33 cups of green tea, right? But that's secondary. But more importantly, it's more about hydration. And particularly if you have children, if they go out, you want to make sure they're properly hydrated. Or if you know a lot of athletes, and they think that, you know, if I drink a litre of tap water or a litre of mineral water, I can hydrate myself. But as you can see, are you hydrating yourself with tap water or mineral water? You don't, because what happens when you drink a litre or a glass of water in the morning and you start jumping up and down? You'll feel very, exactly, you'll feel very bloated, you feel it moving around, right? But with Kangen, this happens. Now, what I'm going to do is just get this tea bag and...
This is my favorite bit. When I seen this the first time, I said, I'm getting one of these for my mum.
Exactly. So I'm just going to squeeze a few drops into each cup. And this is one of the reasons I bought it for my parents too, because I know they love cooking and they used to own restaurants, and they thought, so Anthony, look, the more ingredients I put in here, and in our culture we used to love to make soup, and I thought the more ingredients I put in here, the better the flavour, right? So this is how they used to make their soup while they're cooking. And now we switch to Kangen.
Whoa. It's like it just produces more green tea from it, isn't it?
From that little drop.
Yeah. It draws out the flavour. Okay, so what that means is you can use less ingredients. But again, that's secondary. More importantly, it's about your body. What you're doing here, you are flushing the toxins out from your body and you're hydrating your cells. Okay, so that is the third and final property of Kangen water, and that's microclustering. Ladies and gentlemen, what you've seen so far is the first type of water the machine can produce, and that's called Kangen water. And we use that for cooking, we use that for drinking. Now, what I'm going to show you is there are other types of water the machine can produce too. So to produce Kangen, you simply press one of the buttons on the machine and it automatically produces Kangen water. It converts an ordinary tap water into one of the healthiest water you can get. So when you press another button on the machine, it produces something called strong Kangen water. And the pH of this is at 11.5. It's the highest setting you can get on the machine. So as you can see here, I brought along a packet of ordinary tomatoes. Okay, you're probably wondering, what am I doing with this packet of tomatoes? So the question is, how do you normally wash your fruit and veg?
I'm just rinsing it in the tap water.
Yeah, just rinse it under the tap, right? So I just open up this packet of tomatoes, and what we're going to do is divide this pack of tomatoes into 2 separate cups, and then after this we will have a little taste test. Okay, are you guys hungry? Yeah? I'd like to taste some of these lovely cherry tomatoes. Now the reason why I have a little cherry tomato is just so it can fit in these little cups for this demonstration. So how we usually wash our fruits and veg: regular tap water. Okay? And then what I have here is a bottle of this strong Kangen water. And again, it's just water from our machine. And what I'm going to do is give this a quick rinse. Careful not to make too much mess on your worktop. Okay, I'll leave that to set on one side, and the same with this other cup over here. While you're looking, you're wondering, what is this stuff over here? Okay, so I think I'm fairly happy with these now. And what I'm going to do is just rinse this out. Now normally I would let this sit there for about a minute. Just in the interest of time, I am fairly happy with these now.
Wow.
So, tap water. This cup of tomato, washed in tap water. Did we wash anything off here?
No,
maybe a bit of dust, maybe a bit of sediments, right? Okay, the second cup was washed using this strong Kangen. Okay, so before we go into this, is it okay if I can get you guys to have a little taste test? Okay, you're up for some taste test, guys? Right. Now, You actually just remove the pips from the top, and you want to put the whole tomato into your mouth. Just make sure you don't split all over your beautiful clothes. So after you've tasted the first tomato, just keep your comments to yourself for now. Have a taste of the second tomato. Let me know what you think. So the first tomato, wash in strong Kangen. Second tomato is how you guys currently wash your fruits and veg using tap water. Look at can you see the faces? Can you see the looks on these guys' faces? Can you notice the difference? Now, which one did you prefer, the first or the second tomato?
The first one was much sweeter, isn't it?
The second one's sour, yeah.
Second one's sour, yeah. And these are the general feedback we get. The first tomato, wash using strong Kangen, you tend to taste more sweeter, it tastes more natural. It tastes like something, my grandparents used to grow in the back garden. Whereas with the second one that was washing, you want another one, right?
To wash that sourness down.
That's like a good idea.
Whereas with the second one, this one over here, washed in the tap water, you said it tastes more sour, right? It tastes more acidic. Some people said it tastes more bitter. It tastes like there was a bite, right? There was definitely a bite on the second tomato.
It was a nice experience.
It wasn't a nice experience, but this is what we normally used to.
We don't usually know that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We don't see the difference. That's right.
Yeah. And interestingly, any guesses what this yellow stuff might be?
The chemicals going into the vegetables.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I first did this to somebody told me that it was green tea. Okay, it looked exactly the same colour as that Yamamoto green tea, right?
Yes.
So this is exactly what this is. This yellow stuff here, these are your herbicides, your pesticides, your insecticides. These are all the chemicals our farmers are spraying on our fruits and veg. And unbeknownst to us, we've been feeding this to our family all this time.
Wow.
And there's a really interesting book over here I recommend you check out. What is this called? It's called Killing Cancer, Not People. And this is written by the American Anti-Cancer Institute. You can find this on Amazon. Very interesting book, very powerful book. And what these oncologists and what these doctors says are, they're trying to find what the top 10 causes of cancer these days. And you know what the top 10 cause of cancer is?
Acidity.
And pesticides and herbicides.
Wow.
These chemicals.
Wow.
These are one of the top 10 silent killers in our fruit and vegetable.
It's crazy.
So again, your choice going forward, rather than washing your fruits and veg in tap water, should be going forward using strong Kangen water, correct?
Yes, I know what my choice will be.
Okay, brilliant. So this is the second property, or the second water the machine can produce, the strong Kangen water. Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, what you've seen so far is two types of water, correct? Kangen water for drinking and cooking, and then strong Kangen water for washing our fruits and veg. Now there are other types of water the machine can produce too. Something called beauty water. So when you press a button on the machine, it produces something you'll hear say beauty water.
This is one thing that I think Aga will really like.
Well, not just Aga, believe it or not, I carry this around with me too. Okay, so when you press this button on the machine, it produces unlimited amount of beauty water. You're thinking, what is beauty water? Well, beauty water is simply a pH of 5.5. Okay, now I had no idea what 5.5 was until my wife and my parents told me, what is that? Anthony, is that toner I've been buying from the department store all this time? Okay, so how you use it is very simple. You simply just spray it all over your face, you spray it on your hands, and the reason is it hydrates your skins, it penetrates your skin, and it tones your skins. So again, simply by pressing a button on this, you are saving money. Okay, people think that when they invest in one of these technology, it's costing them money. So you see what we did with the mineral water and the soft drinks. So you're saving money from eliminating those soft drinks, and same with the beauty water. Okay, I don't know how much these are, but I hear these go for about what, 15, 20, 30 odd pounds a bottle, right? So you produce unlimited beauty water with a press of a button on this machine.
And this is very easy to use. You can have
Yes,
it in your
exactly.
handbag.
Carry it around with you. Right, there we go. Right. So, one of the final water the machine can produce is something called strong acidic water. So, again, by pressing another button on the machine, you generate strong acidic water. And the pH of this is set at the lowest. And the pH of this is 2.5. You're thinking, why 2.5? Because once the pH drops below 2.7, you can kill 99% of bacteria. including E. coli, Salmonella, MRSA, Staph. So how this works is you get this in different size bottles. If you just prepare something on the worktop and you want to kill off some bacteria, where you normally use some chemical detergents, right? So this replaces that. You simply just spray it on your worktop and it will kill bacteria within 60 seconds. And I first thought, are you sure? Well, in fact, in a lot of Japanese hospitals, they use this to sterilize surgical equipment for operation. Right? So even if you have gum disease, if you have infection in your eyes, and look how incredibly safe it is to use. Okay? You spray it in your eyes, or you have a gum disease, you gargle with it. Okay? Again, is this costing you money or saving you money? So again, we've been able to make our home a completely safe environment where we've been able to eliminate all those harmful chemicals and use this instead. Okay, so this is one of the last water machines produced, strong acidic water.
Nice.
Nice.
That's great.
So
Especially when you have kids at home.
yeah, exactly.
Safe.
Yeah, so exactly. So those hand cream gels people carry out with them. Yeah, so again, you can eliminate this and just carry this instead. Right. So if this interests you, or if you want to find out more about this, get back to the person who showed you this video, and they'll be able to explain more. Okay. Thank you very much.
So there you have it. That's the machine. I want to do this because the really cool thing about this machine is it's just really simple to use. You literally receive it. Maybe Anthony can come over and we can all show you a little bit how it works. The great thing about it is just it's quite a neat machine. Just place it next to your tap. It's literally plug and play. One goes into the socket for the electric, and then one just goes to your tap. And then you have this switcher here where you can actually have tap water when you want tap water. There's actually a shower setting as well, and then there's a moment when you switch onto this setting where then it comes from the machine. And this is the Kangen water now that it's producing. And maybe if we have Anthony, if you just show them all the different buttons on the machine and what they do. Yeah.
Right. So this machine over here is called a K8, and this is the premium, the top of the range model Enagic offers. And why the K8? Because it speaks 8 languages. So if you're looking to learn how to speak Kangen water in Japanese or Dutch, this is a great model. But that's secondary. More importantly, one of the coolest features of this machine is that it automatically cleans itself. So when you press one of these buttons over here, it automatically cleans itself, particularly if you live in a hard water area. So as Eric mentioned, it's very simple to install. Literally just take 10-15 minutes to set up. So it starts off with one of these diverters over here. So you still have your tap water again. And once I divert it to this blue button over here that says ionizer, now the tap water is going to get diverted down this hose through the machine, and now it's going to split the water. You're now going to have acidic or beauty water down this bottom hose over here, and healthy alkaline Kangen water out of this top hose over here. So how do you use the machine? Very simple. So this is one of the big features of the K8 because it's touchscreen. So when you press the 9.5, the 9.0, okay, it talks to you. Okay, when you press 9.5, it says Kangen water 9.5. So again, what you get up here, the machine is now going to split the water. So you're going to have healthy alkaline water out one of the top hose, and the water you don't want, the beauty water or the acidic water, out the other hose. Okay, so that's the Kangen water, and you can adjust the different pH according to your lightness, whether it's 9.5, 9.0, or 8.5. And we suggest everybody starts off on a pH of 8.5, because switching between 8.5 and 9.5 is a few hundred times more powerful in the water. So the pH of our body is somewhere between neutral. Okay, so when you switch from 7 to 8.5, you want to gradually acclimatize yourself. And then there are other buttons on the machine too that I mentioned earlier. You have something called beauty water I mentioned. Okay, so when you press that, it produces unlimited beauty water and that's the pH at 5.5 or 6.0. So this acts as a toner for your skin. And then lastly, when you press this bottom button over here, this red button here that says pH 2.5, you hear it says strong acidic water. So when you press that button, it produces two types of water. It splits the water and you get 11.5 out the top hose, and this is where you use this to wash those fruits and vegetables. And out the other hose, you produce that very useful strong acidic water for killing bacteria. So that's the different types of water this top of the range model can produce.
I think one thing, Anthony, maybe you share with them the different variations of a few of the machines, so that they know how they can actually get one of these and what the price range is.
Yeah, so this is the top of the range. This K8 here is the premium model. Okay, so I would suggest people invest and get the very best for their health. Now there are other models that Enagic company offers too. So there is a starter model called the Junior 2. Okay, so that produces the 5 different waters you've just seen. However, that's ideal for a single person or dual person. But however, the quality of that water is not as good as the K8 because that only has 3 titanium plates. And I'll explain what those titanium plates mean later. And you have something called the SD501. And this is the flagship model. This flagship model has been around the marketplace for the longest. So that again produces the 5 different waters you've seen earlier. And that is something that I would recommend for families of 4 or 5. And that machine has been on the marketplace the longest, and that is also the flagship model. So that's called the SD501.
Does the SD501 do self-cleaning as well or not?
No, it doesn't. So the SD501 doesn't do self-cleaning, and the Juniors doesn't do any self-cleaning.
So does that mean actually long-term, this one, actually you save money as well because of that?
It saves money, and also in terms, it saves time. Okay. So if you're very busy, if you have kids and you have family, if you've got your job to run around, your business to manage, and you simply press a button on that machine and it automatically cleans itself. So I would highly recommend the Kangen.
So what about the investment levels of the 3 machines you just mentioned? What's the Junior start from?
So the Junior starts from €2,000. The SD501 starts at €3,300, and the K8 is at €4,300.
Nice, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so